But what we want to do is try to pick up and remember a little bit of the happy times with Leland. And well, what now you and Alma and Leland kind of were older. What kind? Tell us some impressions of your brothers and sisters, and then if you think of something about your younger ones, you can mention that too. But did you and Leland went to school together?
Yeah, Leland and I went to school together along with Riddle Bright and Francis Nix and Bruce Roberts. And we took our own car, and Dad bought Leland and me a little Model T Ford that embarrassed us.
Was it Model T or Model A?
Little Model T Ford that embarrassed us. And we took turns, except Riddle didn't have a car. And we had to drive that. We took turns. Frances took her Model A one week, and we took ours the next week, and Raydell shared gas expense. Mm-hmm. And we went to school, packed our lunch, and went to school in Lockhart.
Was Alma already out of school?
Alma was out of school. She did not go back, and course, she stayed with Edith and Luther in Lockhart and finished high school.
Did she?
Uh-huh. I lived right near that high school in a little apartment, and she stayed with them and went to school. Yeah. And then when Leland and I came along, we drove, and like I just described, we shared rides with Francis Nix and Raydell Bright.
Yeah. Well, Leland dropped out, though. He didn't graduate.
Leland got hurt. He got a concussion and had to lay out, had to stay in bed. At that time, they put him to bed, and he had to stay in bed.
He did that cowboying?
Yeah, the horse fell with him. And so he had to stay in bed like for 6 weeks, and then he just never did go back and got interested in romance, and he and Dorothy married when he was fairly young.
And in later years, I heard Mother say, I didn't think much about it, but she regretted that Leland dropped out of school.
I'm sure she did. She
said she did, and that she felt it was not because he couldn't learn, but he was not interested in school, and there wasn't any way that he was going to go back to school.
I remember when Leland had an appendectomy. Leland and I were close. We did lots of things together socially because we were in high school together, and he let me tag along.
You mean like going off down to Macmillan?
Yeah, well, where did we go to Macmillan for? We didn't go to Macmillan, but we went, I don't know, we went to Lockhart to the movie, and he had let me tag along. And anyway, we had friends the same age, and we had a good time. But Leland had lots of illnesses, lots of surgeries. If you think back, he had lots of surgeries.
Not before. It was not related to the cancer that he died from.
No. Like mastoidectomy, like appendectomy, and this is what I was coming to. I remember that when Leland had the appendectomy, we all went to the hospital
in
Lockhart, and I remember that Dad went in the surgery room, in the operating room, with Dr. Ross and Leland, and I'm not sure there was a nurse there. I don't know, there might have been, but I know Dad came back and got me to go in there.
In the operating room? This was before he was married then.
This was before Leland was married, and I could not stand the ether nor the sight. So I got turned around and got out.
Why did he want you to go in there?
Well, so I could see medicine in the making, I guess.
Oh.
I don't know.
But did you know that, Alma?
No, when he had, his leg surgery?
No, this was his appendectomy, his very first surgery. Oh. That Dad went in and stayed most of the time.
In his surgery?
Yes, and he came back out and got me. And I just didn't stand up to it at all. But I also remember about Dad. He had very tender moments, and I remember that when we were all in Houston with Leland in his final hours, that Dad got up and went back into the room with Leland and said, I will stay with him to the end.
I remember that because I was there.
I will be with him to the end.
And he was.
And he was.
And when Leland drew his last breath, Dad said, into thy hands I commend his spirit. Yeah, I remember that. He had faith. Dad had lots of faith.
Lots of faith.
And Leland was the first to leave us in our immediate family. He was a cancer victim and went through much medical treatment and suffering before he finally was taken home, which was on June the 1st in 1960. He had been carried to MD Anderson Hospital, and they thought they were going to be able to give him some new treatment. But Nelta said he said at one time, they better hurry if they're going to give me any new treatment. But he was there for maybe a couple of weeks before he died. And that was, for me personally, the first really close contact with death. And it had an impact on me that none of the other deaths have ever had, because it was the first experience that I had where I saw someone breathe his last breath and was taken home. Dorothy, his wife, also died from cancer. I can't remember just how many years later. Not a real long time, but she, and then Carolyn was left. Just Carolyn, but we considered Carolyn certainly a part of our family, and we love her. Well, I don't know, but I would guess they probably worried as much about Leland, I mean, even before his illness, as any of us, because he ran around with those boys, and they had lots of car wrecks.
And he was their only son. Rest of us were girls.
He was the only son. He liked to drive those cars fast.
Yeah.
And he liked to
rode with him.
Nelta, you can probably tell us more about that. Riding the horses. He loved that cowboy business.
Yeah.
Of course, Carl had cattle and horses, and Leland kind of connected up with him and did a lot of cowboying. And I mentioned today what an exciting time it was when they put on those rodeos, and Carl had all those bright satin shirts made for those, Leland and Harlan and WC and I don't know who else, but he had
Jigger.
Yeah, and they were the flag bearers. They rode into the arena carrying the flags. And man alive, I never felt so important in my life as my brother out there leading that flag brigade into that arena. Now, could you tell us a little bit more about
the fast cars?
Oh, we'd watch him drive that thing.
Watch out.
Now we got Nelta disconnected from the car.
I don't remember any particular thing about Leland driving the car fast. I know Bruce Roberts drove the car, and Leland went with him some, and they would drive and make that forward backfire and spin around, and that was such great sport, and they'd just do it all over Dale. And so Mr. M.L. Hurst was the justice of the peace, and that backfire he decided was disturbing the peace, and gave him some sort of punishment. Was it a suspended sentence for a few months?
I didn't know that.
It was something. Yes, they got
something.
Yes, they got something. And so then they had to kind of put the quietus on that. But Mother and Dad were good to let Leland have the car, because when in high school.
Don't
He
you
dated
remember?
Dorothy.
Yeah, but that's the only girlfriend I remember him having.
No, he dated Viola Beardsley, who was Dorothy.
Yeah.
Dorothy
Oh,
Barber's sister. He dated her before he dated Dorothy, and he was real crazy about Viola Beardsley. Do you remember? Of course, they were younger and they were never serious, but they were steady.
I believe he was 19 when he married.
He was 19 when he married Dorothy.
Yeah.
And then Carol and Ann came when, I don't know, a year or two later, and she was one of the prettiest babies I ever saw.
Carol
One
was
of the prettiest. She was a pretty baby.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you now, you don't remember Leland taking that Model A that Dad bought from Mr. Beardsley? That was a school car. There was a Model A y'all had, and he would, metal body, 2 doors, but had 2 seats, and he would, kind of maroon colored.
That's
And-
the one we went to high school in, but it was a Model T. It
Yeah,
was the
Model
one
T.
it wasn't a Model A, it didn't have a stick shift. It was the little pedal push
Okay.
pedal
And the
with
Model
I
A-
didn't know Model Ts ever had that solid middle top.
Yeah, they
Did
did.
they?
Model
Well,
A
it
had
was
the
a
rumble seat.
Well, that was Francis Nix had the Model A, but we were embarrassed ours was a Model
Well,
T.
whatever that car was, when it would rain, he'd get on the churchyard, which was muddy, and spin that car. And we'd watch. I was scared to death watching him out that window. I just knew he was going to turn over and be killed. It was, and Mother would be upset with him. His daddy, Melvin, was going to be so upset. But then he and Alton, he came in with his collarbone broken because he and Alton wrecked the car one night. Not our car. But it was always something about
Whose
those
car
cars.
did they wreck? I don't remember.
They turned over a car somewhere.
Alton Riddle.
Bruce Roberts.
Alton Riddle.
Alton, Riddle, and Leland were in that car wreck.
Well,
Leland had a broken
Might have been
collarbone.
Leland's first injury. I don't know.